Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Coach's Corner, my part of the podcast where I get to help you try to get more out of your pool game. You can learn more about me at www.mnpoolbootcamp.com, MN like Minnesota. I'd like you guys to check it out. I think I've mentioned this, but one thing is get to know me a little bit. Go to my website, check it out a little bit, read some of the testimonials about people that have come out and trained with me for a few days and how it's changed, how they see the pool table. But it also answers a lot of questions. I've gotten some emails, and please check out my website. And then if you still have questions, reach out to me directly. I'd love to hear from you. This week, what's on my mind is something that I think is paramount, the most important thing. And that is, maybe the biggest mistake that I think people make. And it's a strange one because I understand why they make it. But what's odd to me is that they don't question. They don't ever challenge. And they can make the same mistake for 20, 30, 40 years. And it can kind of destroy their pool career. It's weird. So what that is when we play pool, when we get down to it, we play pool to enjoy the game. We play pool for fun. And there's fun when you win, and there's fun when you improve, and there's fun when you make good shots. But when you're successful in pool, it's very enjoyable and satisfying. And ultimately, that's what we're after. When we first started playing pool, it's like, hey, this game is fun. And so we were enjoying the game. And then somewhere along the lines, we realized maybe we started taking the game more seriously. We went from being recreational players to amateur players, and we started, taking the game more seriously. And we had days where we'd make those shots that we'd trained ourselves how to make, or we'd use that aiming system to pocket a ball that we couldn't have pocketed before, or that bank shot would actually go in, and that would be really satisfying. And so somewhere along the lines, we'd say, boy, I played well today, and that was really fun. And so our goal is to extract the maximum joy out of the game we can. And we realize, boy, when I play better, I really enjoy myself. I've got an idea. What if I played well all the time? Then I would enjoy myself all the time, and I would extract the most fun possible. So I've got an idea. I want to enjoy myself all the time, so I'm going to play good all the time. And the way I'm going to do that, to make sure I'm having all the fun I can have, okay, in order to get all the fun I can have out of this game, I'm going to make sure I play good all the time. And the way I'm going to do that is if I ever play bad, I will punish myself. And I will get mad at myself. And I will criticize myself. And I will sting myself and say, that was terrible. You couldn't miss that shot. What are you doing wrong? And that way, if I punish myself every time I make a mistake, then I'll quit making those mistakes. And then I'll play good all the time. And then I'll have fun playing as much of the time as possible. And I'll just be playing great all the time and enjoying myself all the time. It's almost like Deadstroke is a beautiful bird, and we're trying to put it in a cage and force it. And so then what happens is with the strategy is that people start making mistakes, and they start whipping themselves and beating themselves and criticizing themselves. And then they put all this pressure on themselves, but they're afraid to make a mistake, because if they do, they know they're going to go through all this misery. And it creates, and then they start controlling, and they start being too analytical and controlling and forced. And next thing you know, they're beating themselves up, and they have a miserable day on the pool table. They don't play well. And they do this session after session, month after month, year after year. And I've met people that have spent the last 30, 40 years of their life putting in miserable sessions on the pool table. And here's the part that I really, really don't get. You develop this strategy in your head, and it kind of makes sense, right? It kind of makes sense when you first concoct this strategy that, hey, I'm going to force myself to play good so I enjoy the game more. But if the result of that strategy is years and years of misery, at what point do we go back and revisit this and say, it was a good theory, but in practice, this isn't really working out to where I'm enjoying the game more. The reality is that if you decide to try to beat yourself, whip yourself, or punish yourself, or zap yourself when you make errors and mistakes in an effort to play better, it turns out that it doesn't work, and you just make yourself miserable and zap yourself. And that's not it doesn't work. And now there's a follow-up questions where people can say, well, what's going to motivate you then, and what's going to teach you not to make those mistakes, and how I need to, if you don't punish yourself when you make mistakes, that's not going to motivate. You're not going to be motivated to get better, and blah blah blah. And those are sub conversations about like, I disagree. I think that I'm, frankly, not only am I plenty motivated, but I'm much more motivated since I'm not emotionally fatigued from the torture I exert on myself constantly. And so I have kind of a childlike enthusiasm, and I'm more excited about what's going well than I don't think, and I think that we've seen this with training dogs, and we've seen this with employee morale. Like, we don't need to be heavy-handed and belittling and punishing to get results. And so, but anyway, there's all these questions about, well, what about motivation, and how am I going to learn to change? And I need to teach myself and train myself. But I think that without going down those spin-off conversations, I think that the answer is no. It's been pretty well proven that you don't need heavy-handed punishment. And in terms of effective strategy, though, even if you don't get better at pool, or whether or not your skill level goes up, like separating skill, if the ultimate reason why we're playing pool is to enjoy the game, then I wanted to call to people's attention that making yourself miserable for hours on the pool table in an effort to play better and hence enjoy the game does not work. It's better to go the opposite way, which is, how about this strategy? How about I will enjoy myself playing pool today and then try my best? And by doing that, sometimes you're going to enjoy yourself. Sometimes you'll then go on and play well. Sometimes you might not, but you'll at least accomplish the goal of enjoying yourself if you don't tie your happiness with your level of performance. And so that's my recommendation. Don't tie your enjoyment of the game to your level of performance. The most important quote I've ever heard about pool is this: when you play to have fun, you win as soon as you put your pool cue together. And so if you're one of these people that have spent the last 20 or 30 years punishing yourself in an effort to enjoy the game, please take a second look at that and see how it's actually working for you. And I'd recommend just reevaluating and seeing if maybe we should make this the other way around. So, all right, guys, thanks for your time, and I guess I'll catch you next week.